I don't need anybody. It's with me all the time. I don't need no one. It's with you and I. You created and gifted us with life. You sent us a message and a shining light. He is the one who created.
Dominic, how are you? Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
How you been? How you doing?
I'm
Karate champion.
Yeah.
So you've been training karate for how long?
I'm in karate for 18 years now.
18 years.
I'm now 28. I started with 10 years.
Yeah.
When I was 10 years.
And you still training karate?
Yeah, I'm still karate.
I heard Bosnia has one of the strongest teams in Europe in karate. Is that true?
That's true. We had been maybe 2 times the second place in the world.
Yeah?
Yes. So. And karate is the most popular sport in this country.
Uh-huh.
So my father, he passed away in 2006. Actually, I was 17 years old, and it is a very hard attack for my family because our father, he was number one, and he was just working, and all the money is coming from him. And I had one mother and 2 sisters. And when he passed away, I started to think about death. And I saw everybody will die, because actually at that time I thought my father, he will never die. He's like my God, you know.
How did he die?
In a car accident.
Car accident.
But what's interesting, he was a professional driver, and he was driving. He had a car license for a truck, for so heavy duty cars. So a car, it's nothing for him. And subhanallah, take him from this world in a car accident.
Mm.
So, and at that time, my first words I told at that time when he passed away was Alhamdulillah. I don't know how.
You just said thank God.
Thank God, just thank God. What myself? Nobody told me you should now pray, you should do this. Just I start to follow my heart, and I start to read a book about death. I see many people are dying, and something should be on the other world. And step by step, you know, I was trying to be honest to God, to Allah, and I ask Him every day, please show me the right way. And Alhamdulillah, step by step, you know, I feel more comfortable. And I didn't know at that time, I didn't know how to pray, nothing. I just went to the masjid when it was Jummah, Salatul Jummah, and I was just looking people, you know, how they're praying. I'm just following them, and wudu. I didn't know anything about Islam. At that time, this was my worst point in my life, but actually now I see that was my best. The best thing what happened in my life.
And how was life before then, like without Islam?
During my life, during my father was alive, we didn't have any contact with Islam. So I lived in a family, let's say, family. Everything was open. I was in the national team of Boston Karate. So we were just traveling each weekend. We were going somewhere outside Boston. So it's just party, you know, party. But to be honest, never at that time I feel comfortable with myself. You know, this was just the moments during I'm doing the party with my friends. At that time, I'm laughing. But when I come home back, to be honest, I start to cry because I didn't feel comfortable. Everybody say, you know, that's good what you're doing. You know, you're like good guy. But actually, I didn't feel good.
Something's missing?
Big missing. When my father, when he died, I just recognized that I will die.
Yeah.
And this is not the way I should live. And I feel that I should come back to my Lord.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is the only way. And I start, but to be honest, when I start to pray, you know, my challenge was the Fajr, Salatul Fajr. And one time, it was 2 days before Ramadan, I completed all 5.
So now you are implementing Islam. You're researching, you're studying, but now you talk about some of the challenges, struggles. It wasn't just a walk in the park, was it?
Of course not.
No.
So At that time, I was, to be honest, one of the most important members in our family. Our family is a huge family. And when I was a nasty guy, you know, when I started to practice Islam, I didn't have a father, so I was living with my mother and two sisters. And the next 5 or 6 years, I was the worst guy in the family. So nobody, you know, the family was giving me some support, like money support, you know, they cut that. So, you know, my mother, after maybe 1 year, she told me, I cannot let you, you're praying or doing all the Islamic things, leave my house.
Why?
Just because I started to be good. Just because I was praying, you know.
But hold on, before you said you were a party guy,
Yeah.
you're hanging out, the nightclubs, going out. Did they have any objection to that?
Nothing.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Of course. And, you know, at that time, this was the most tough period in my life.
Yeah?
But actually, from the other side, this was my most beautiful part of the life, because I was never so satisfied with myself. Because I knew I'm close to my Lord.
Okay, so they kicked you out.
They kicked me out.
Yeah.
And actually, at that time, I was alone. Nobody was with me. Not my friends, not my family, my mother. I was walking on the street, you know, I was hungry, no money. To be honest, I sleep on the road, you know.
Wait, she kicked you out?
She kicked me out.
You were kicked out, just
Yes.
driven out of your own home?
Just like that.
So wait, your parents, technically, they're like, are they, because from the former Yugoslavia, you had many people who were communists, so they left religion,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So were they of that mindset?
Same.
Same.
Like
So
that.
they're like atheists?
Yes, like atheists.
Yeah, okay.
And we had like one meeting, family meeting, a big family meeting, and I was surprised when they invited me, because I was now kicked out.
But now they called you somehow because the family's getting together?
Yes.
So you got an invite,
Yes.
right? Okay. And maybe the mother is more soft, right? She's maybe missing you. She
Yeah.
won't tell you. She wants to see you.
Maybe she told them because, you know,
Yeah.
I wanted my son be here with
Yeah.
us. And then one guy from the family, one member, he told, let us hear Damir, what he,
Now they want you to recite.
me, yes.
Yeah.
And okay, I accepted. And I start to read Quran. 2 pages I read. And, you know, for 6 years I had all these problems with the family, and I get very emotional. And of course you're reading Quran, and I start crying, you know.
يوم هم بارزون لا يخفى على الله منهم شيء لمن الملك اليوم لله الواحد القهار اليوم تجزى كل نفس بما كسبت لا ظلم اليوم إن الله سريع الحساب.
And subhanAllah, at that time, when I finished, I was reading 2 pages, and when I finished, I just started watching the people around me. Everybody was crying. And my mother, she cried, she came to me and started to hug me. My mother, she didn't hug me maybe for 5 years, you know. And a very emotional moment for me and for all the families. And they start then to shout, you told this Damir, see, he is reading, he is a good guy. And subhanAllah, for that time, Allah changed the situation in my life. I get married, I get a good job, and now 80% of the family, they're practicing Islam, you know. And when I see my family before and now, of course, this is Allah opened the way for them, but the Quran at that time changed everything. And alhamdulillah, now, you know, my mother and my sisters practicing, they are wearing hijab, you know. So yes, everything is different, totally different.
MashaAllah. They're actually all, the majority practicing, right?
Yeah, majority.
Amazing. Subhanallah. Yeah.
To be honest, my mother, she's praying better than me now, you know. Longer time. When she
Alhamdulillah.
prays, alhamdulillah. And
Now, what if you gave up? Many people, because Allah tells us in the Quran, حَسِبَ النَّاسُ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. Do you think that you'll be left alone and just saying, I believe, and you won't be tested? But you never gave up.
never, alhamdulillah.
Yeah. And now, how's life now for you?
Now it's totally different, you know. At that time I was alone, I had nobody, no money, not my friends, not my family, my mother. Now I have three companies. I'm doing the construction business, property business, real estate, you know. Alhamdulillah, now Allah give me money, you know. I have a big family now, and what was down now it's up.
What do you, when you connect with people, like what advice do you give them?
My advice is that I have one sentence for myself. This sentence that Allah is the most important. If I want to do something which I know Allah is not satisfied, I said just to myself, Allah is the most important. And this sentence is everything in my life. And Salah is number one. Because I'm now in business, I'm just working, wake up early. Just with this Salah, this is my break. And 5 minutes, I'm taking my break. And to be honest, it's totally refreshment for me. Mm. You know, I'm trying in the Salah to be focused in the Salah. And after that, again, I'm in a business, and Salah is number one. Mm-hmm. So people who say, I'm Muslim but no Salah, they have a big problem. They don't know actually, they don't have that connection with the Lord. And from my side, I'm just thinking that maybe I will die tomorrow.
Death.
Death. So, because my father died, and from that day, I think every day I will die, to be honest. And I'm doing my best to finish all my obligations at that day. And Alhamdulillah, before 2 years, I went first time in Hajj. And again this year in Hajj with my wife. And I'm planning not to stop. Now, of course, now I have everything in my life. The most important thing is the Islam. And my family is number one. My mother, I'm living with my mother. My sisters, they get married. And I will never, ever leave my mother alone. I told my wife at that time when I want to marry her, we will live with my mother, because in Islam, the mother is number one for the man. And I told her, if my mother asks me something and you ask me something, first I will go to my mother, then I will come to you. And never, ever you'll be in front of my mother.
One last piece of advice for the not yet Muslims. What advice do you give for them?
My advice to them, because I believe I was not a Muslim, because if you are honest to yourself, you will see that you're not satisfied. Something you miss. With Islam, you will get everything. Maybe to you will happen good things, bad things, but you will always be satisfied. And this is the most important thing. You will not need anything, just you will need your Lord, and He will give you everything. So with Islam, everything what happened to you is great, and you feel good because you have an answer of all things happen to you, and that feeling that you're satisfied, that you feel calm, that's the most important. And nobody can tell me this money is number one. I have now money. I see money is nothing. You know, just this feeling, this Islam, and 5 times praying and be with your Lord. That's it. I cannot, of course, explain this feeling, but they should try.
Yeah,
they should try. Definitely.
You got the whole world and everything to gain and nothing to lose. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now for being with us.
My brothers and my sisters, you need not to worry, because Allah is always there for you and me. He continues to give us and wants us to be those who are known as Jannah.